without
work,
a job and looking
without a
for
job
work.
and looking for work.
This has never happened.
This is never.
No, this kind of
This
did
kind
happen
did
to me
happen
once.
to me
There was
once.
there was one point in my life where I was out of work.
It was
a weird situation.
It's a weird situation.
I should make a video about it.
We're talking about like
30 years ago.
30 years ago.
A long time ago.
A long time ago,
I
was out of work.
So I had no job.
So I had no job. I was looking for a job.
This
happens in life.
Sometimes when university students come home, they want a job
for the summer and they can't find one. They're out of work.
And you really think
they should get a job.
That's usually what parents think.
Anyways, another one similar to out of time, out of energy.
This person
no longer has work to do, so they're out of work, which means they need to find a job.
Out of business, permanently closed, and no longer operating.
Now, the most common time when we see this phrase
is when you see
this sign.
And this is something that happens
before
a store goes out of business. They will often have a going out of business sale. So if there's a store and they're going to close the store, the person is no longer going to run the store. They might say to people, we're going out of business next month,
or
we're going to have a
going out business sale. We're going to sell everything for cheaper,
so that the store is empty
when we eventually close it. So our business
permanently closed
and no longer operating. Is that store still on Main Street? Now they went out of business. They're no longer there.
Or let's go to Joe's restaurant.
Didn't you hear?
They're out of business.
They're out of business. They ran out of business.
You
can't go there anymore.
Out of bounds.
This should be a familiar one to people.
Outside the area of play. In some sports, if the ball goes out of bounds, there will be a whistle.
There will be a whistle.
In some sports, if a player with the ball steps out of bounds, like basketball, there will be a whistle.
Basically,
many sports
have lines.
And if you step across the line, or the ball in that game go past the line, depending on the sport, it might be out of bounds.
So soccer's a good one. Football,
basketball, American football,
all have rules around something being out of bounds.
We sometimes
use this
to talk about people a little bit too in relationships.
Like
if your friend is
dating someone,
then that person's out of bounds for you because your friend is already dating that person. You're not going to ask them out because out of bounds.
So
I think I'm using that right. Out of bounds. Normally used to talk about outside the area of play. Off limits. I think that's the word I'm looking for. That person would be off limits. Little correction there. I don't know.
No correction there. Maybe out of bounds.
But definitely off limits.
Out of sight.
Not able to be seen.
So
this is Shaq.
I don't know if you know who
Shaq is. Shaq is
hiding behind a
So
tree.
this is kind of a funny picture for this example because we can obviously see him.
Shaq is a very big person.
Very tall. Amazing basketball player
when he was playing basketball.
But here we have
someone who kind of be out of sight.
Basically trying to hide when something is out of sight or someone is out of sight, they are not able to be seen. Out of reach,
too far away to be touched or obtained.
So you
see that this lady has a lot of things on the top shelf, and they're out of reach. So she can't not reach them.
But if you look,
it's a little ladder there. She should use a ladder.
And then she would be able to reach. But when something is out of reach, it's too far away to be touched or obtained. One of the places you see this phrase a lot is on things that little children shouldn't be able to grab. It'll say keep out of reach of children or store out of reach of children, which means you put it on a shelf really high so that they cannot reach it or grab it. Out of danger. No longer in a situation where you might be harmed. So you see in this photo,
this lady is now out of danger because the firefighters has saved her from the burning house. This is not the real picture. This is an AI picture. It was really hard to find pictures of someone who is out of danger.
I can find
lots of pictures of people in danger. It's really hard. So I had AI generate one.
She was in a house.
She's been in a house. The house is on fire. But now the firefighter carried her out.
And she is now
out of danger. No longer in the situation where she might be harmed.
Stay out of trouble.
So this is a full sentence. Because the phrase out of trouble is almost always used by parents
when their
teenage kids need to go somewhere. They will say, stay out of trouble.
And it's a phrase used to tell people to behave. It's not that could lead to
problems.
If
my son
was going
camping with some friends this weekend, I would say, stay out of trouble.
What I mean by that,
don't do anything anymore.
Don't do
anything
like
dumb like what teenagers do sometimes. I don't want a phone call in the middle of the night from the cops.
Stay out of trouble.
So again, a phrase meaning
used to tell people to behave
and to not do anything that could lead to problems.
Out of nowhere.
So earlier I think we mentioned the phrase out of the blue, not in the lessons, but in the question.
This is
similar.
Appearing or
happening suddenly and unexpectedly.
So in this
situation, it looks like someone
on a bike
was hit by a car.
The
person driving the car might say,
I don't know what happened.
She just came out of nowhere.
A person on a bike
came out of nowhere and hit them.
Or the person
on the bike
might say the same.
They say, I was biking along. And this car came out of nowhere, just hit me and knocked me over.
So out of nowhere,
appearing or happening suddenly and unexpectedly. It's a hard word to say, by the way. Unexpectedly.
Out of context.
So
this is
a fun one, and I have to explain how this works.
It's when something is separated from the original situation.
From the original situation and making the meaning different. Okay.
So let's
say
in a
live stream.
I said this. Okay, so we're having a live stream, and I say to someone,
you know what my friend said? My friend says, Canada has no chance of winning.
And I think
that's wrong. I think Canada will win.
If you
went and took the clip
where I say
Canada has no chance of winning,
and you
took that and put it online, that would be out of context.
Because you
don't have the first part of the sentence
where I say my friend
says,
and you don't have the last part
where I say my friend is wrong.
So again, please don't do this. If I said
this, you know what someone said to me? They said, Canada has no chance of winning.
And I think that's ridiculous.
Canada will win. Ridiculous. Canada will win. You can go and take that sentence out of context. Canada has no chance of winning.
And Bob the Canadian,
he doesn't think Canada will win. This happens a lot on the internet. Not to me, thankfully.
But many times on the news or on the internet, people will take something out of context. And it must be frustrating for the person who says more than gets put online.
Out of character. Not typical of how someone usually behaves.
So many of you
has been around for a very long time watching my video.
And you know
this is not
my normal
mood.
I'm not often angry online.
Sometimes it's real life and you get angry.
But it would be
out of character
for me to be angry
during a live stream.
It would not
be typical of how I usually behave.
So if you
saw me online
saying Canada has no chance of winning.
I can't even make that.
I can't make the face.
I can't make the face anymore.
I would be out of
character.
My normal
character.
If I have a good night's sleep, and if I'm eating healthy, and if I'm exercising regularly, my normal character is fairly positive. I'm usually in a pretty good mood. I'm usually happy. This would be out of character for me to behave in an angry. By the way, during this past 12 months, I've had some weird health problems. There's been times where I've been out of character in real life. It's just because I was out of energy and exhausted and tired. Out of season. Not available or not normally grown, so are used at that time of year. So here's the best example I can give. Strawberries are available in Canada year round. but fresh local Canadian strawberries are only available
at the end of May
and in June.
So if you
buy strawberries
in
January in Canada, we say these are out of season,
and you're buying
strawberry from California
or from the southern United States
because they're out of seasons in January.
They're in season,
in June, but they're out of season in January.
By the way,
fresh local strawberries always taste better than strawberries that you buy in January.
I appreciate that you can buy strawberry in January,
but there's something really yummy about fresh local strawberry.
So when strawberries are out of season,
I usually don't buy them.
So again, out of season,
not available,
or not
normally
grown,
grown, sold, and used at that time of year.